Well, joining me in the studio tonight is Managing Director of the Association of Ambulance Chief Executives, Anna Parry. Anna, I really appreciate you coming into the studio tonight to front this up, because when I watched that, I wasn't upset, because I've seen that report so many times concerning different organisations, public bodies. It just happens to be the ambulance service this time around. And I'm angry when I watch that, really angry. How do you feel when you watch it?
I feel angry too, Sarah Jane. First, thank you for inviting me to come and speak this evening. I feel angry too, really disappointed, really shocked, and would like to thank those individuals for speaking up and sharing their stories. Extremely brave thing to do, and we really appreciate that, and are deeply sorry that those individuals, as well as other individuals that we've heard about, have had that experience.
You say you're really shocked. But the women that have spoken to us, currently working in the service, former employees, say this is rife. This is actually an open secret within the service, but women are too scared to speak out. They were terrified to speak to us here at Sky News. They've spoken anonymously. Janet, a former emergency care assistant, not a real name, said, when I joined in the noughties, few women, virtually none in leadership. The misogyny and harassment then was blatant. Today, it's more insidious. Yeah. The problem is woven through the fabric of the service. So when you say that you're shocked tonight, people at home aren't going to buy that.
So we know that this is happening, and we've known for some time, and we kind of...
How long?
So at an ACE level, so we represent all UK NHS ambulance services, and this has been a top priority for us for the last sort of 3-4 years. We've got a comprehensive programme of work that's led by somebody with lived experience of this within the ambulance sector, and the core of that is an advisory panel that comprises people that have had lived experience, because we feel that it's absolutely essential that that is at the heart of this, listening to people. So like Katie, Sarah and Janet, who you've spoken to, hearing their stories and encouraging others to speak up. And what we've seen since we kind of embarked upon a more sort of systemic national piece of work in this area, we've seen the number of people speaking up increase, which we're really, really pleased about, because we know this is going on and we want people to feel safe and that they can speak up in a way where they will be heard and action will be taken, and that is happening. And then just to come in on the point with regard to kind of it being rife, we know statistically that from the NHS staff survey, 1 in 10 women within the sector said that they'd had experienced unwanted or
the ambulance service came out top in terms of worst behaviour.
It did. So we know that's 1 in 10 women and 1 in 20 men. Okay. So we've got a problem, and we will continue to prioritise it and work with people affected, work with HR professionals and boards until there's nobody that's in that place and everybody feels that they're working in a place that's sexually and psychologically safe.
OK, so you say you've known about this for 3 to 4 years. Sky News understands that there were reports looking into a number of trusts as far back as 2017. It comes back to this being an open secret. It comes back to the age-old phrase of it being swept under the carpet. It's in the public domain now. You have to deal with it. How many people have come forward to you, and how many colleagues, bosses, paramedics that have been accused of harassment, sexual assault, serious sexual assault? How many of those have been referred up to your regulatory body, and how many have been expelled from the service? You must be keeping track on those numbers if you are admitting you've got a problem. So
I haven't got those numbers. So we represent all UK NHS ambulance services, so kind of work on their behalf.
But can you give me an idea of whether, if complaints are being made, people are being kicked out of the service?
Yes, so I can give you an example from one of our services, London Ambulance Service. Last year they dismissed 12 people. One of them was involved with police proceedings directly as a result of sexually sort of inappropriate behaviour. I'd also like to say, Sarah Jane, that the approach we've been taking over the last years has been different from the approach that many other services have taken that have this issue, whereby rather than focusing on a few individuals that we need to get rid of and dismiss, we know, based on our research, based on the evidence that we have, based on our conversations with people that have experienced this, that to change things, we need to change the culture and move to a place whereby low-level inappropriate behaviour is no longer tolerated, because this is on a continuum, and where it is tolerated, that creates conditions within which sexual assault can flourish. So our approach is different. We want to listen to people, we want to encourage people to report, and then get to a point whereby this becomes a thing of the past.
This is something we've been talking a lot about this week, violence against women, violence against women and girls in various guises. I feel like every night this week we've done a report affecting women and girls, whether it be online grooming, whether it be sexual harassment and assault at work. How are you going to make it safe for those women to come forward? Because, again, I refer back to Janet, just one of the women we spoke to, who said she was told she could pick which manager to sleep with so she could get on a paramedic training course to progress her career. She refused, and she never made it as a paramedic. They've been telling us at Sky News they never spoke out because of what their colleagues would do. They might damage their lockers. They might say, you know, we're going to make life really difficult for you. And that is the reality of what they are living with. So how can you tell them tonight that if you come forward, you will be able to continue to work, you'll be safe in your job, and we will take you seriously?
So we are now in a climate whereby that is very much the case. We haven't always been in that climate, which is where some of these things have sort of continued and been sort of perpetuated, some of these behaviours. We're in a different place now, and we've got the full sign-up of all ambulance services in the UK to this programme of work. So I'm fully committed to this and absolutely determined, while I'm in this post and working within the ambulance service, that we get to the point whereby that is the norm, and the experience that those three women and many others have had, it is no longer the case for anybody within the ambulance service. And we will continue to work on this and prioritise this until which point that is the case. And for people that feel they can't speak up in their trust, we would strongly advocate them speaking to a Freedom to Speak Up Guardian, speaking to people within their ambulance women's networks, which we all have now, or coming to us at ACE.
How long is it going to take to start to change that culture? Because this isn't just the ambulance service, this isn't just the NHS, this is a society problem. So I'm not asking you to sit here and tell me how you're going to solve violence against women and girls, but are there enough women in leadership in the service? Is there the fire in your belly? Because we've all been there as women, in the workplace, in society, coming up against men who just don't think there's a problem, who think it's harmless, it's just a joke, get over yourself, come on, you know, be a big girl, you can deal with it. And it's not like that. No. It's not like that for the majority of women. It is tiring every single day. So talk to me about how women in the ambulance service are going to come together and sort this out with male allies as well, because there are many of them there that themselves are frightened to speak out and call out this behaviour.
Absolutely. So we have, within ACE, we have an ambulance women's network group that focuses on all those issues. Now, it's not a job for just women to do, as you know, and as you said, we need those male allies. I work very, very closely with ambulance service boards, and I know that we've got those allies, and people are committed to changing this, because what has happened isn't acceptable and will never be acceptable. And where I'd like to get to, so I have got a lot of fire in my belly, as have my colleagues, and as has my lead in this area. Where we would like to get to is where the ambulance service is an exemplar in this space, has adopted a different approach. So not the kind of macho, we're going to stamp it out, that kind of thing. We know that doesn't work, it hasn't worked, but where we look at changing the culture and people sort of seeing and hearing from those individuals, seeing and hearing the impact that that's had, which is absolutely massive, and you'll have heard that from those three women, career-wise, personally, absolutely horrific, and that isn't something that we will tolerate or have as our culture anymore. And there are incredible women within the ambulance service, and we're seeing many, many more women kind of moving up into senior leadership roles, which we encourage and want to continue. I feel that I've got a platform as a woman in this managing director role that I want to kind of take advantage of and work with women, as I'm doing now, and continue to work with them to help elevate them, to ensure that we get, and we are moving in the right direction on this, but to make sure we get to the position whereby our leadership is reflective of the 50-50 male-female split as our workforce now is.
OK, well, let's get to work. Anna, lots to be done. Thank you so much for coming in and fronting up this issue. It was a really difficult watch for you, me, everyone at home. So can't even begin to imagine what those 3 women went through and their bravery in coming forward to speaking to us at Sky News. Thank you. We will keep in touch and follow your progress.
Thank you.
Anna Parry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.